Knowledge is the treasure. Lao Tzu says this very rightfully, but practice is the key to it. We are discussing another 20 question and we are practicing for phase 2 exam of RBI Grade B. These discussions are also going to help you in the descriptive writing. Hello everyone, my name is Chandraprakash Joshi, former AGM of RBI. If you have any question, feel free to reach to us at 920-55-24028. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. This is part 10 of the video. Shivam wants to promote one of the employee to lead the new production team, and he prefers to promote an employee with a low LPC score. Which attribute would an employee will have if he or she has a low LPC? This is the question I asked in the last video. And low LPC means someone who is effective in favorable and unfavorable situations. This LPC concept is based on the Fedler's contingency theory, and as the name suggests, contingency. So it says it's not only about the leadership style but also the situation, whether that leadership style is good for controlling over a situation. So it shows that most favorable situation is when the leader-member relations are good, the task is highly structured, the leader has strong position power. Task-oriented leaders are more effective in a highly favorable and highly unfavorable situation. So both the kind of situation, both the kind of extreme. Whereas relationship-oriented leaders are more effective in situation of intermediate favorableness. When the relationship is favorable, the low LPC task-motivated leader will work better, and when it is unfavorable, then also low LPC will work. High LPC will work in a situation where intermediate favorableness situation is there. And LPC stands for least preferred coworker. Least preferred coworker. So relationship will work in the middle situation. The RBI's retail direct scheme, which is one-stop solution to facilitate investment in government securities by individual investor, was issued on July 21. RBI retail direct portal was launched by the Prime Minister in a virtual mode on 12th November 21 for operationalizing the scheme, which is the following statement is correct. So you and me, like retailer, can now directly buy the government securities. Investors are permitted to open retail direct GILT account with RBI. It will ease retail investors access to government securities primary market. Of course, payment to be made through a wallet to be maintained at RDG account. Why this will be there? So you can make through your bank also, no? So this looks very illogical kind of statement. You can find out that 1 and 2 are correct. So you can open an RDG account with RBI, retail direct GILT account, and start injecting in government securities. You can directly buy. So before that also you can buy, you were allowed to buy government securities, but through the intermediaries. Now you can directly buy from RBI. Investors can place their bids as per the non-competitive scheme for participation in primary auction. So when these government securities are auctioned, you can place the bid. Investors can buy and sell government securities and NDS OM2. OM is order matching, and payment can be done by saving bank account or through internet banking or UPI. And here I am coming with another great news for you. This is BPDR Daily. We have been getting lot of requests, and as I said many times that those who have been following BPDR, they could score 60 plus in general wellness in RBI this time. And this BPDI is meant for regulatory exam and other banking exam. The focus is on the banking and finance, unlike most of the current affair material, which is focusing either on UPSC or on only bank PO exam. So here, this is your opportunity to download this. Daily you will get this, and download this from the website, absolutely free. Read your PDF. You can make your cheat notes based on that, but more important is you study that. And for phase 2 preparation, live sessions are going on, and I keep on saying only at iExam B you have faculty members who have cleared RBI Grade B exam. Dr. Sanjeev Sharma, Mr. Sushil Lagade, myself Chandraprakash Joshi, Arunima Sinha ma'am was Grade B officer with SIDB, Madam Sikha Malhotra was PO with SBI, and Prachi ma'am, you know, nobody can match the knowledge of finance. Amit Pari sir, he got all India third highest marks in the descriptive exam of NABARD. So how much you can learn from him when writing is the difficulty. The more you listen to these kind of faculty, the more you be with them, that provokes your thought. Writing descriptive does not mean lot of fact putting in a piece of paper. I am telling you, half of you will do this mistake. Hear it carefully. You will do this mistake because you want to regurgitate whatever you have learned. So much of fact. So guys, understand, they are looking for your own thoughts also. Your thoughts have to be based on the fact. But if you are simply reading something and just showing off how much you have remembered, this is not going to help. They are not checking your memories in the descriptive exam. This is an assessment of your ability to work with the central bank. Coming to the next question, National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development has been set up as a development financial institution, another DFI like NABARD should be. Which of the following statement is correct regarding it? It will be regulated and supervised as an All India financial institution by RBI. RBI is a supervisor for all India financial institutions, also like NABARD. I also did a NABARD inspection. NABFID is a DFI set up to support development of long-term infrastructure financing in India. Obviously, the name suggests so. Chairperson appointed for NABFID is Mr. Rajneesh Kumar. It is not correct. Former chairman of SBI, Mr. V.K. Kamath. V.K. Kamath is a very known personality in the field of finance. He was former chairman of ICICI Bank. Actually, during his time, ICICI Bank grew huge, and prior to that, he was the head of National Development Bank of BRIC countries. Government has provided an initial capital of 20,000 crore and committed 5,000 crore in the grant for NABFID. It is the fifth AIFI. The other four are Exim Bank, NABARD, NHB and SIDBI. Private sector lending limits for loan against negotiable warehouse receipt, electronic negotiable warehouse receipt was enhanced from 50 lakh to how much? This is one important farmer financing, very much used for PSL. It is now 75 lakh rupees. What happens if farmer keeps the goods in the warehouse and warehouse gives him a receipt? Against this receipt, bank gives loan. The goods becomes the security here, and farmer use this money for the next crop, because by keeping in the warehouse, farmer gets a better price. After say 4 or 5 months, he can sell at a better price. One of the important goal of the economic liberalization policy is to achieve high convertibility of the Indian rupee. Which of the following is not a benefit of the rupee convertibility? Convertibility of the rupee will stabilize its exchange value against major currencies in the world. Whether it will happen, it will attract more foreign capital. Yes, that will be sheer encouragement to export. It shall help. It will raise import price and cause cost push inflation. How it is going to happen? I don't think so, and this is not a benefit at all. So this is the correct answer. Integration of Indian economy with global economy, that will definitely happen. So by reading the options you can find out the answer. It is an easy one. Capital liability convertibility is freedom to convert local financial asset into foreign asset at a market determined exchange rate, lead to free exchange of currency at a lower rate and unrestricted mobility of the capital. It is beneficial for country because of the inflow of the foreign investment coming into the country. Flip side is it could destabilize an economy due to the massive capital inflows in or out of the country. So in case of India, it is not completely current account convertibility. Current account we have, India has full current account convertibility but partial capital account convertibility. India has partial convertibility. What is that partial? 40-60 in the capital account. But inside this overall policy, enough reforms has been made and to certain level foreign exchange requirement is matched. So you have to understand this current account transactions, any amount of money one can bring in the country or take, of course as per the approved guideline. You cannot take money in the country for financing terrorism. No. So free does not mean that it has to be absolutely free. But for capital account, it is 40-60. As per the World Investment Report, India is the 7th top recipient of the FDI. This report is released by which institution? The correct answer here is UNCTAD, and UNCTAD says that receiving 45 billion, India is at the 7th position. US remains the top position, 367 billion. US also receives foreign money. Not only it gives, because lot many people invest in US, including countries like China, India, whose foreign exchange is kept invested in USA. UNCTAD was established in 1964, headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland. The current Secretary General is Rebecca Greenspan. These are the kind of additional information you get when you study BPDA, and that's why students are scoring. And this is how it comes in the daily BPDA, comprehensive coverage with added learn along. FDI. What is an FDI? If you don't know, it is an investment made by a firm or individual in one country into business interest located in other country. Currently, FDI takes place when an investor establishes foreign businesses operations or acquire foreign businesses assets in a foreign country. UNCTAD, headquarter, Secretary General. So these are the additional information. This news we covered in our daily BPedia. Which of the following equation with respect to the deficit financing is correct? You have to know basically what is budget deficit, primary deficit, revenue deficit, and the correct answer here will be all three, because budget deficit means total expenditure minus total receipt. Primary deficit is fiscal deficit minus interest payment. So interest payment, whatever borrowing government has to pay interest on that. So after your fiscal deficit, interest is removed, so it is becoming primary deficit. And revenue deficit is revenue, as the name suggests, revenue expenditure minus revenue receipt. Effective revenue deficit, another term you have to know here. Fiscal deficit, total expenditure minus total receipt except borrowing. Borrowing is not counted. That's how you will, because how the deficit will be met. Deficit will be met by the borrowings. Effective revenue deficit minus grant for creation of the capital asset. Remember all these formula. Pause the video, note down. The following statement are correct. Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana is a centrally sponsored scheme. All eligible pregnant women for first living girl child of the family are entitled for benefits under the scheme. PMMVY envisages providing cash incentive amounting to ₹5,000 directly to the bank or post office account of the beneficiaries. Second is not correct here, because this scheme is not only for girl child but for first living child. So there is no discrimination of girl or a boy here for the child, because this scheme is for the Matru Vandana Yojana. So this is, see, understand the purpose of the scheme. It is for the mother under the Ministry of Women and Child Development, and now a part of the overall scheme of the Mission Shakti Samarthya. Cash incentive of 5,000 directly into the bank account. It combined with other scheme Janani Suraksha Yojana, under which 1,000 is given for an institutional birth, means a birth in a hospital rather than at home. So total a woman gets 5,000 plus 1,000, 6,000. And under the revamped PMMVY, the maternity benefit amounting to ₹6,000 is also provided for the second child, but only if the second child is the girl child. So in the case of second child, girl child benefit is there. Otherwise, for the first child, girl or boy, the benefit is there. Mission Shakti is about Sambal, safety and security of women, and Samarthya, empowerment of the woman. Government has again hiked the MSP of paddy and some of the kharif crops. You know about MSP, inflation is increasing, so of course this requires to be increased. Which of the following is correct about the Msp recommendation? CACP is mandated to advise on the price policy MSP on various crop. This is correct. Many a time we discuss this. CAPP submits its recommendation in the form of price policy reports every year separately for three groups of the commodities, namely Kharif, Rabi and sugarcane. Based on the CACP report, the government fixes MSP for 23 crops. First and third are correct. 23 crop MSP is available today. 7 cereal crop, that is paddy, wheat, jowar, bajra, maize, ragi and barley. 5 pulse crop, gram, tur, moong, urd and lentil. 7 oil seed, oil price you must be knowing now. Groundnut, sunflower seed, soybean, rapeseed, mustard, safflower, niger and sesame. Then copra, that is coconut, and cotton, jute and sugarcane. And CACP submits report for 5 groups of commodity every year, not 3. Kharif, Rabi, sugarcane, raw jute and copra. 14 Kharif crop MSP has been recently increased. CACP has suggested to end the open-ended procurement in the country to manage food stock and subsidies. It also suggests that paddy procurement should be done only from small and marginal farmers to manage surplus rice stock in state warehouse. PNCPS are allowed to be included in tier 1 capital. What does C in PNCPS stand for? PNCPS full form. Actually, you shall know what is the full form of PNCPS. So PNCPS is perpetual non-cumulative preference share. So these are preference share, non-cumulative, perpetual. So C stands for the cumulative. It can be issued as an additional capital for the purpose of capital adequacy norm. It is in tier 1. What is the tendency of the personnel to experience and express their negative emotional attitude and generally perceive themselves and others surrounding them negatively called. This is neuroticism. Neuroticism is a long-term tendency to be negative or anxious emotional state. It is one of the 5 personality traits as per the Big 5 personality model, from where the question is coming. People with neuroticism tend to have more depressed mood and suffer from feeling of guilt, envy, anger, anxiety more frequently and more severely than the other individual. The other personality traits are openness, conscientiousness, extraversion and agreeableness. Which of the following should be part of the corporate governance framework? Protect and facilitate the exercise of the shareholders' right. Yeah, shareholder rights are important to be protected. Ensure that timely and accurate disclosure is made on all material matters. So if the material is missing here, then it will become difficult, because how much disclosure is to be made? All small item? No, all material item. Ensure efficient market such that the prices of share is at intrinsic value. How a company can ensure the efficient market? So market is not in the hands of a company which is responsible for the corporate governance. Ensure board's accountability to the company and the shareholders, of course. So A, B and D are correct. Transparent information and disclosure shall be there. Pricing of share is a market determined situation of demand and supply. In case of the FCEB, foreign currency exchangeable bond, which of the following statement is incorrect? The bond is issued in foreign currency. Yes. The bond is redeemable in foreign currency and interest is paid in foreign currency. That's why it is foreign currency bond. It involves 3 parties: issuer company, offered company and an investor. The issuer company and offered company can be the same. No, this is not correct here in this case, because if that is the case, then it becomes FCCB. The only difference between FCCB and FCEB, EB is exchangeable, is that the bond may be converted into a equity share of issuer company in case of FCCB and into equity shares of another group company in case of the FCEB. The word exchangeable and convertible. Convertible means which can be converted into equity, and exchangeable means it can be exchanged. So exchange because it is offered by another company. The current year has seen large outflow of FPI, foreign money from the country. Who maintains the data on foreign portfolio investment in India? A simple question, but sometimes fundamentals are missing. So this data is maintained by NSDL. The depositories maintain this data, that is NSDL and CSDL. So in this option CSDL was not there, otherwise that is also correct. So both maintain this data. Foreign portfolio investors are regulated and are to be registered with SEBI through designated depository participants. Under the liberalized remittance scheme, an amount up to USD 2,50,000 can be remitted. What does this scheme mean? Non-resident can remit this amount to India for any purpose. 2,50,000 rupees is a huge amount. USD 2,50,000 USD is close to 1.9 crore today. Why I am saying so? Because many a time, based on this logic, some amount you can maybe find out the right answer. Non-resident means what they will do with 1.9 crore. Indian resident can remit this amount outside India for any purpose. Such a huge amount and allowed outside India. You know that many people, those who want to do money laundering, they will do on the name of family members and friends. Non-resident can remit this amount to India for investment purpose in addition for maintenance of close relative. So this kind of thing, vague statement will never be there in any policy. Who is your close relative? How they are going to take care of this? Indian resident can remit this amount outside India for investment and expenditure purpose. This is the correct answer. Anyone can remit up to this amount freely inside or outside India, provided through bank. So here the purpose is also there. The limit of 2,50,000 has to be in financial year April to March for the permissible current or capital account transaction or a combination of both. Permissible activities include education, medical, business, travel, private travel, immigration, purchase of property abroad, equity, debt, investment abroad. The LRS limit has been increased now to 2,50,000 USD. Restricted areas are lottery, gambling, trading in foreign exchange abroad, purchase of the FCCBs issued by Indian companies in the overseas secondary market. Understand, here in India you can directly buy the share, so why you are purchasing outside must be there is something fishy. For lottery of the sweepstake to people that may be involved in terrorist activities or to the countries not under FATF. There also there is a suspicion about the activity. The internal VAR model. VAR is value at risk. Must have studied about VAR. The VAR model is one of the methods of estimating which type of risk under the Basel. Credit risk, market risk, operational risk and systemic risk. And meanwhile, I have told you, if you have earlier missed the chances of attending Extreme B, in which we arrange offline classes. Right now we are arranging these classes in Pune. Register for this session. This is the only program in India where you have offline plus online studies. VAR is used to ascertain the market risk. The government recently launched MIS dashboard for the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. Which of the following is not correct about this scheme? The scheme was launched in 2020 under the Ministry of the Fishery, Animal Husbandry and Dairying. The scheme has been estimated investment of 20,000 crore, including 7,710 crore for fisheries infrastructure. It's a 5-year scheme from 20 to 26. The investment of 7,243 crore has been made in 2 years under the scheme. This scheme year is from 20 to 25. Not from 22 to 26. So basically financial year 21 to 25 and the rest all are correct. The scheme is expected to increase the fish production to 22 million metric ton by the end of the scheme. Unity Small Finance Bank got the Small Finance Bank license from RBI in 21 and took over the stressed Punjab and Maharashtra Cooperative Bank. Unity Small Finance Bank is promoted by Centrum Financial Services. It got RBI license for Small Finance Bank in June 21 under section 22 of the BR Act, and Centrum promoted Small Finance Bank, Unity Small Finance Bank through a JV with Bharat Pay. Unity Small Finance Bank commenced operations as a small finance bank from October 1st, 2021. According to RBI, bank is identified as a D, domestic SIB, systematically important bank when it's too big to fail. These are actually very dangerous word to use, too big to fail. In this context, a bank is considered as a DSIB when its asset exceed what percentage of the GDP. So here the correct answer is 2%. The assets of the bank are more than 2% of the GDP. As of now, SBI, SDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, these three are systematically important bank in India. As per the Union Budget 2022-23, income from transfer of the virtual digital asset is to be charged at what rate of the tax? And what are these virtual digital assets? The correct answer here is 30%. Any virtual digital asset shall be taxed at the 30% income from these. The gain. TDS on payment made in relation to the transfer of the virtual digital assets are at the rate of 1%. Your cryptocurrency will come into this, and you have to answer this question. Banks are required to lend 40% of ANBC to the banks are required to lend 40% of the ANBC to the banks are required to lend 40% of the ANBC to the priority sectors. The priority sector lending target was raised to 40% on the recommendation of the which committee? So it is coming from the historical perspective. You have to answer this question. We will talk about the correct answer and the other committees in the next video. Must remember the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is practice. Practice, practice, practice. We only at Exam B gives you all mock tests for free. Don't forget to like and share the video. All the best.